The OMEGA Seamaster, one of the most beloved but important designs in all of watchmaking, seeing many different iterations throughout the years and giving us a few Bond watches in the process. But if it's up to me on the Seamaster design that I like to associate the most with it, it's this Seamaster 300. The Seamaster lineup of watches is probably one of the most loaded in all of watchmaking. You have a lot to choose from as a consumer. You could go with the Seamaster Diver 300s that have become popular because of James Bond, most likely in the last few decades, as well as looking at the Planet Oceans, which have also kind of followed suit there. You can go for an everyday option with the Seamaster Railmaster, as well as the Aquaterras that have really become popular, as well as great everyday options and polarizing options like the Ploprof. However, if it was up to me, or a watch that I don't think gets maybe mentioned as much as it should, the Seamaster 300. A watch that I think does kind of embody the origins of the line, giving even the Submariner a run for its money. First, the reference here is the 233-3041-2101-001. Another long reference number from Omega here, but case size is 41 millimeters, lug width of 21 millimeters, case thickness of 14.5 millimeters, lug to lug of 48 millimeters, water resistance of 300 meters, has a sapphire crystal, and is powered by an automatic Omega 8400. So this watch is going to be recognizable for those that are familiar with Omega's catalog, as well as their history. But there are two more contemporary options that we've seen in the past, say 3 to 5 years, that are easy to confuse this watch with. So one is going to be the Bond watch, the Spectre Bond watch, as well as the 1957 Tribute watch that was released in 2017. So let's just mark the differences out first so we can differentiate them. Starting with the differences of the Spectre Bond watch, couple quick signs. One being the bezel, coming with a 12-hour bezel on that Spectre watch without any pearl and the absence of a 12 on the dial. In addition, perhaps the most noticeable thing, if you're somebody like myself that just gets caught in a trance watching the beating seconds hand of your mechanical timepiece, you'll notice that the Spectre has a lollipop second hand compared to the triangular endpoint that the Seamaster 300 has. Then when looking at the other model that is commonly mixed up here with the Seamaster 300, the 1957 Trilogy model, coming with the traditional bracelet in second hand, a different caliber containing the 8806, and the inclusion of a countdown bezel. And across the three, I do like them all in their own ways, but I do like the design of this model the most, the Seamaster 300, and with the other two being limited in their production, I think this model becomes even more compelling. Now, one consistent criticism that I usually have for Seamaster models is they do wear a bit bulky on the wrist given their thickness, as well as usually the helium escape valve that's going to be occupying them on the side of the case. This model does not have as many of those issues. I would say it's improved on it, has not perfected it, but certainly a step in the right direction in my opinion. As with this watch's diameter, it's got 41 millimeters. The watch is a nice sweet spot for wearability, and although I have personal leanings of 39 to 40 millimeters for sports watches, I think 41 millimeters is a good overall size for the entire market when factoring in the lug-to-lug, especially of 48 millimeters, and the absence of a helium escape valve. A couple notes, first with the solid center link, which is going to make this watch wear a little bit larger across the wrist, and the other more common point of criticism, the thickness, with this one coming at 14.5 millimeters thick. However, I will say that I think this is just one of those scenarios where you can't just write off a watch solely based on the numbers here, as unlike say like the Tudor Black Bay, for example, with its kind of slabbed one-piece side profile that just wears flat on the wrist as well, it makes it appear just more thick. And I think that's what a lot of people, when they're looking at the Tudor Black Bays, kind of criticize more than just the actual thickness itself. But this Seamaster 300 takes advantage of hiding a nice portion of its thickness seated at the bottom of the case that presses into the wrist during wear, similar to how the Oyster case operates. But could it benefit from maybe a millimeter thinner? Probably, but I think Omega has done a nice job with faceting the side profile elements to have this piece wear slimmer. The bracelet on the piece is quite good, featuring brushed outer links and a polished center link. Also, the buckle features one of the best on-the-fly adjustment systems with a push slider within the clasp that enables the wearer approximately like 10 millimeters of adjustment without removing any links. The lugs on the case are brushed on the anterior side and polished on the side of the case. The The bezel, 120 click, and is very fluid in its action, containing a ceramic bezel ring within. So the main reason for my personal leanings towards this watch ultimately comes down to the design. Overall, it walks a fine line of appealing to classic style while looking modern. By looking within the sapphire crystal, you can see the sandblasted black dial that provides a nice kind of textured finish to the piece when examining closely. Throughout the dial, we have a few traditional designs from the line, the writing of the 36912 on the dial, the neatly written Seamaster underneath the Omega logo at the 12, and a white minute track casting far into the center of the dial compared to most other watches on the market. A couple other important notes here have to come with the hands and the hour markings. Unlike a traditional sandwich dial, Omega has cut recessed areas of the dial exposing the faux patina superluminova markings to match the rhodium hands at the center, with the hour hand following the broad arrow style that Omega has really made famous, a classic pointed minute hand, and a loom tip second hand, which of the three models we mentioned at the beginning, I think this is my favorite execution of the handset. All the hands are loom filled to match the dial. However, you will notice the minute hand and the pearl in the bezel both give off a green hue instead of a blue tint that the other loom points have across the watch. A cool touch that also serves as functional when checking the time in the dark. And yes, we do have faux patina on this watch again. I've been on record again saying that I actually kind of like this in many of the watches that I've reviewed, especially from Omega. Does Omega go crazy with it sometimes? Yeah, probably. But overall, I think it works more than when it doesn't. And I think this is one of those cases that it does work. From my point of view, I think it'd be cool just to see that option available. But I think in this watch, it does still look cool in my opinion. Moving over to the 3 o'clock, the Seamaster 300 comes with a screw down crown, helping to achieve its 300 meters of water resistance. It operates traditionally at the farthest pulled out position, giving you the ability to adjust the time while stopping the second hand in the process. Then at the first position, it will give you the ability to isolate the hour hand without stopping the balance, making setting the time during daylight savings time or travel really a breeze. And since there's no date window on this watch, I think that really is a favorable option here in terms of the functionality. Flipping over the watch, we have view of the Omega coaxial caliber, the 8400, a watch movement that is also reliable as well as really awesome to look at. A movement that's going to provide a great sight when flipping it over, with the reliability that comes with Omega's master chronometers. The movement comes with a beautiful wave finish across the bridges and rotor, and perlage finishing beneath the cool black balance wheel. The movement also has increased spec with twin barrels for extra energy, has a coaxial escapement, as well as an SI14 silicone hairspring. The caliber operates at 25,200 vibrations per hour, is a master chronometer, which also is going to allow it to meet the criteria of 0 to +5 seconds a day, and as well as being resistant to 15,000 Gauss, and has a power reserve of 60 hours. With all this combining together, we have probably one of the best in-house calibers on the market for the price, ready to take on everyday wear with a breeze. Now, in the past few decades, there's been so much success associated with the Seamaster lineup, primarily from the Seamaster Diver 300 as a result of the James Bond franchise and Pierce Brosnan, as well as Daniel Craig embracing the design. But if it was up to me in terms of, because I think there is a need for a refresh in the Seamaster's marketing as well as production, that this Seamaster 300 design and kind of iteration of the old design is a fantastic one to get behind, and I would love to see more kind of firepower put behind it. It's both classic as well as giving off really good modern looks, and I think it's going to be a little bit more timeless. You don't have the helium escape valve on it. I think it's a much more wearable case on the wrist, but I think there's just so much upside here, and it's just simple. It's a great looking watch. Also, it would probably be amazing to see different dial colors available. There's more things that they can do with this watch that they've done so much with the Seamaster Divers, as well as the Aquaterras, honestly, that could be going in this direction as well. Another reason why I think this model really resonates with me is it's historically very similar to the original design, which to me I think is the most superior, as well as really stacking up well both in the design department, its wearability, to the Rolex Submariner. And we could play around all we want, but I think there's so much to be achieved here between Tudor and Rolex, especially with Rolex continuing to go up market and Tudor actually now moving up market quite a bit. There is a sweet spot for Omega to capitalize on, as this being a very, very compelling diver option, say between that $4,000 and say $8,000 range that I think they can capitalize on. Will they do it? I am not sure, but all of that factored together, there's just more reasons why I think I just am drawn to this watch and I want to see more from it in the future as my favorite current Seamaster 300 model. So guys, if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. Also, a quick question, what do you think from this line, or the Seamaster collection? What is your favorite model that they currently offer? Do you see upside with this model like I do? I'd love to see comments down below. Also, big thank you to Bob's Watches for lending me this watch for some time to wear it, enjoy it, and be able to give an in-depth review on it. If you guys are in the market for any watches or watch straps, Bob's Watches, amazing place to go purchase several watches from them, so definitely recommend them, as well as going to Baldassarre.com as well. Links in the description, and a great way to support the show. And also, make sure you're following me on Instagram. I've been doing a little bit more interaction, posting more awesome photos. I've been trying to step up my game there, doing exclusive giveaways as well. And it's a better way to just kind of interact with me on a daily basis. So definitely follow me if you're not following me there so far. So guys, thank you again so much for watching. Be well, and I will see you all very soon.